Not water scarcity, not water stress, but water bankruptcy is the biggest threat that the earth is facing at the moment. So in this session, we'll understand the gravity of the situation as highlighted by a report released by the United Nations University. So let's talk about the situation. But before that, let me just very quickly tell you that there is this new course, which is the Studio GS Foundation live online course. This course is your complete UPSC preparation kit. You are covering your complete syllabus of prelims and mains at an affordable price of only rupees 24,999. And you can also get a further discount if you use the coupon code SALONI, all in capital letters only, and you will get the maximum discount. You also have 3 different mediums to choose from: English, Hindi and Hinglish. So don't wait. For any further queries, please call us at this number, which is 87501. And you can also download the Drishti Learning app and enroll into this course. And now let us talk about the situation of water bankruptcy in the world. So there is this new report that has been released by the United Nations University Institute for Water, Environment and Health. And the report highlights that the world so far has lost approximately 410 million hectares of wetlands over the last 5 decades. Now, wetlands, you know, are the transitional zone between terrestrial ecosystem and an aquatic ecosystem. And the report highlights that we have so far lost 410 million hectares, which is almost the size of the European Union. So imagine the gravity of the situation. So much water, so much wetlands, so many wetlands, they have been lost because of all anthropogenic reasons. And further on, the report also says that the situation right now is so grave that terms like water stress and water crisis, they are inadequate to define it. So what we are going to use is water bankruptcy. Water bankruptcy is going to define the current situation. And what do you understand by this term? So this term basically means that our consumption is exceeding the natural rate of water recharge. We are consuming far more than what can actually be naturally replenished by the system. So it is a situation of overconsumption. This consumption basically is exceeding our natural rate of water recharge. Now, what actually is the challenge? Why have we reached this situation? In order to understand that, let us talk about the availability of water on Earth. So we have very limited availability of water that can actually be used by humans for different things, because approximately 97% of the water that is available on Earth, it is saline in nature. This is saline in nature. It is not fit for drinking. It is not fit for consumption, for irrigation, agriculture, industrial use, etc. It is mostly found in oceans and seas. And the challenge over here is that the technology is not adequate for desalination. They are costly, they are energy intensive. The world right now does not have adequate desalination technology. So you'll have to exclude this thing. 97% of the water is not fit for ready consumption. It is not readily available for consumption or usage by the human race. So what is left? 3% of fresh water. This is what is available for our consumption. But even out of this fresh water, we must understand that most of it is trapped in glaciers and ice caps. Majority of our fresh water again is not available for consumption, for irrigation, for agriculture, anything, because most of it is trapped in glaciers and ice caps. However, due to climate change, these ice caps are also melting, but we'll require heavy infrastructure to be built in these areas so as to get water, extract water, and then we'll be able to use it. So again, you will have to we cannot heavily rely on this component of fresh water right now. So what do we rely on? Two major things: groundwater groundwater and surface water. Surface water, rivers, ponds, lakes, reservoirs, etc. And groundwater is what's found in the aquifers, what gets stored in the aquifers. So we are heavily relied on groundwater and surface water for our consumption needs. And because of this, because of the availability, the very limited availability that we have right now due to technological constraints, infrastructure constraints, that is why the world right now is facing a situation of overconsumption, and that has led to what we are calling water bankruptcy. Now, so on, if we talk about the highlights particularly of the report, the highlights say that 70% of the major aquifers, the groundwater that we talked about, is used for drinking water and irrigation, that is showing long-term declines. So we are heavily relying on our groundwater, and 70% of that groundwater is also showing long-term declines, which means that for very long we will not be able to rely on groundwater also because of overconsumption. It is not also being able to naturally replenished. So that is also going to lead to a situation where again we'll have to not rely on all these things. And then a day zero crisis is going to rise in major regions, in a lot of regions. What do you understand by day zero? Day zero is a situation when our taps will run dry, which means that the municipal authorities of that area will not have piped drinking water to supply. The water supply will fall short. We will not have piped water. We will not have these tap water coming into our homes, and strict rationing of water will happen. Water resources will happen. Emergency use of water will start happening because pipe supply will not be coming into our houses because of water scarcity, because of water bankruptcy that the world will be facing. And this day zero crisis will start emerging from multiple cities altogether. For example, in 2018, there was a similar situation in Cape Town also. And in India as well, major cities like Delhi, Bengaluru, Hyderabad, they already have water scarcity situations. And there is an anticipation that here also we'll reach a day zero in the coming years. So this again will be a very severe situation that we'll have to deal with. And then more than 30% of the world's glacier mass has been lost since 1970. Why? Because of climate change. So the report has actually highlighted that the situation is very, very bad at the moment. The major things that we are relying on, groundwater, surface water, all these things that we are relying on, they are also depleting at a rate that will not be able to naturally recharge them. Overconsumption is the problem over here. The world also is facing water bankruptcy. And if we talk about the water crisis in India, that is also very bad. Around 342 million people lack access to safe drinking water. So public health is also at risk. Then crop losses are there. Because if there will be water scarcity, how will irrigation in agriculture happen? So crop losses are also going to happen. And all these things are also going to have an economic impact. It will also lead to GDP loss risk. There is a risk of nearly a reduction of 6% in our GDP by 2050, which is not a good news for India. So all these things, they don't just have environmental concerns, they also have economic impacts. Our GDP also is going to be impacted. So that's why it is very important that everybody, every human being starts treating this situation very, very seriously and starts understanding that water is a resource that is very, very precious and we cannot afford to simply waste it. So a lot of things need to be done at an individual level also. And of course, the governments and the organizations will also do their bit. But individually also, let us make it a point that we are not going to waste water, because the world right now is facing a situation of water bankruptcy, and water is very, very essential for our basic existence. We so far do not have an alternative of water. We need water for our basic existence. That's why it's very important that we keep using this resource very, very judiciously. That was all for this discussion. I hope you enjoyed the discussion over here. The situation, of course, is grave. Let's do our bit to make it better. Now let's look at a practice question for prelims. And before we do that, I want to tell you that there is this Republic Day sale, which very soon is going to be live from 24th to 27th of January. And here you are going to get up to 50% off all on our online courses, pen drive courses and test series. And a 25% will be off on books, TLP and magazine. So for any more information, if you wish to enroll, please click the link in the description. And if you need any more information, if you have any queries, please call us at this number 87501 87501, and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Now let's look at the question. Water bankruptcy refers to A. A situation where water consumption consistently exceeds the natural rate of recharge of water resources. B. Complete absence of freshwater resources in a region. C. Temporary water scarcity caused by seasonal droughts. D. Exclusive dependence on desalinated seawater for meeting water demand. Choose the correct option. Please provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching. We'll meet in a new video. And if you liked the video, please do share, like and subscribe to Drishti IAS English channel. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe. And do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.